Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be speaking to you about the fourth of the first four-part series on the evolution of soul as per Vedic astrology and what are the hidden information codes, secrets that we can find buried there. Before I begin, a couple of housekeeping things here. If you're watching this on podcast, I urge you to check out the YouTube presentation because the picture is worth 1,000 words and I'm presenting this on YouTube channel. The YouTube channel link for the video is in the description box for every video. That's one. And I would also encourage you to follow the channel because there's a lot more content coming through as downloads for me. I'm just sharing this. Think of me as the voice that is sharing this information as it is coming to me. Next point. If you are watching only about your ascendant, if you're an earth, air, fire, or water sign, I encourage you to watch the others as well because guess what? As human beings, we are surrounded by friends, family, colleagues, all the other humans who are all having another signature stamp, even your children. Each child is coming with a different signature. So you might even find out what their ascendant are by the very things that I discuss on those channels, on those other videos. Okay. So today we begin this blue triangle that you see on the screen. This blue triangle appears to be a desire triangle, the desire triangle of the human being, which goes from the third house to the seventh house to the 11th house and feeds it back to the third house. Think of all of these four-part series that we are examining in the first half of soul astrology. It's continuously evolving, like I said. Think of this as examining the canvas. If you think of soul and the life that you present here in this body and in this time as a painting, the painting which you create from your life, think of what I'm presenting here as the canvas of your life. We are examining the canvas upon which your painting is resting. The painting will change throughout life as you mature and as you age, but the canvas remains pretty much the same because you're born under a particular ascendant. So, the third house is the house of deliberate action. It's the house of skills, all kinds of skills and talents. Motivation, your roots of motivational being, how you are motivated as an individual starts in the third house. This is the beginning point. It is also the beginning point or the origin of your sexual desire. When I say sexual desire, it doesn't just translate to the actual physical manifestation of it. It's the life energy that you feel inside you. Remember, sexual energy is just life energy. So that life energy, that's the beginning in the third house. In the seventh house, which is the Kendra house, why we are examining at the first level of astrology of understanding soul, all the Kendra houses, is because the Kendra houses, this diamond, blue shaded diamond, is the fundamental foundation of your life, who you are, how you are changing as a soul in the first house, fourth house, seventh house, and 10th house. So we have already examined the first house in the first four-part series. In the second house, we examined the 10th house. In the third one, the fourth house. And now we are coming to the 7th house. So we are redefining the Kendra or your foundation aspects and how they shift and change. What are the energies that shift and change in you through your life? What changes the canvas of your life? Okay, what changes the nature of your painting on that canvas? That's what we are examining. So 7th house stands for, typically, where you bring to the external half. Remember this, we spoke of night and we spoke of this half of your chart as day. So the moon half, the ruler of this left half of your chart is the moon and right half is the sun. So what energies appear in your daytime half is what you bring and get from the external world. What appears on the left side is what you get from inside you to the external world. So both are needed, obviously. But the spouse, your lover, the partner, business partner, trade, commerce, contracts, legal contracts, place of foreign residence, because first house is the native place residence, seventh house becomes other places residence. All of these aspects have things falling on the left and right. So basically your first and seventh house have got two halves. You're split in half. One part of you is always interacting with the external world, one part you're always evaluating in your internal world. Same with the house of the spouse, the house of the lover, house of intimate relationships, marriage. Marriage is a form of legal contract, so that's also split in two. Some part you're showing to the external world, some part you're re-evaluating in the internal world. It's like a bridge. First and seventh houses are the bridges between internal world and external world. Moving on, this energy then feeds back to the social community. The 11th house is for social community, social media, how you are present in a larger community of the world. It also stands for gain of wealth, of money, gain of health, how you get good health, how you get popularity, how you get fame. So all the earthly things that we desire as humans, fame, popularity, good wealth, good health, good presence in the social community, all of these things come from the 11th house. And that energy in turn feeds you back to the third house. That's what you're seeing here. And this we will examine through ascendants, through dharma, artha, kama, moksha, through sattva, rajas, tamas for every ascendant. Okay, keep watching. Now let's talk about the earth signs. The Taurus, the Virgo and the Capricorn, the three earth signs. So how does it play out in the earth signs? The desire body plays out in the earth signs in the emotional body, the moksha houses, as you can see here on the chart. In the third house they have moksha, in the seventh house they have moksha, and in the 11th house as well they have moksha. What does moksha mean in this context? It means the emotional body. Where the emotional body, the 4, the 8 and the 12, the moksha houses play out for the three types of ascendants, Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn, is how it will show up what they should do in their life as ascendants. Start with the Taurus. Taurus in the ascendant is artha, how, recognizing resources and abilities. This is what they're doing all of the time. They're trying to recognize their resources and abilities. Okay. So in the third house they have sattva and moksha, means they need to seek the purest form of their emotional body. Everybody has this, but just which position it is placed in. For the Taurus it is placed in the third house. That means they are seeking the basic answer to the question, for what? For what am I doing this? All of this stuff that I'm doing in my life, for what? Connecting with the heart. That's where it plays out for them. Cancer plays out in the third house for them. The house ruled by the moon, and it's in the moon half. So Taurus needs to very strongly connect by deliberate action. Remember we talked of one of the core attributes of the third house is deliberate action, conscious action, not unconscious, not drifting along in life. So they need to consciously take action for connecting with their heart, consciously take action with their skills, recognizing their own talent, which will motivate them. The talent can be any number of things. You can dabble with any number of things, but it has to motivate you. Something has to feel light to you. Once it does that, it will activate their sexual desire body. That's what you're looking for. The sexual nature of the human being is to feel in all aspects, emotional, mental, physical, all aspects, not just physical. Okay, I'm coming from that place here. So for the Taurus, it needs to connect with the heart in its skills, in its discovery of skills, in its deliberate action. That will motivate them and their desire. That in turn, if they do that successfully, they come to the 7th house, where they are talking about their spouse, their lover, their husband, wife, whatever, trade, partner, commerce, contracts, all of these aspects. They have tamas and moksha, the second for what is answered for them there, which is finding their core desire. They find their core desires. in their spouse, in their partnerships, in their intimate one-on-one partnership we are talking about, let it be business or spouse, they need to recognize what their core desires with respect to their spouse, lover, intimate relationships. They need to work on this. And they can, because they are in first house, they are ruled by Venus. So they can do that. Okay? They have the resources and abilities because they are constantly hunting for it. It is just a conscious action if they take in third with those things. Once they connect with their heart, they can connect with their core desire. That's how it works. And once they do that in the seventh house, the Taurus ascendant soul will find the answer to the question which they asked last, which is why me? The liberation from ego and embracing the heart center will come in the 11th house as fame, as name, as popularity, as good health. It's even gain of health. You will gain good health in the 11th house, my Taurus ascendant souls, if you do these two actions deliberately, which in turn will connect you with the emotional body more. So you'll make more connections with the heart. You'll feed you back to third house. And that's how the Taurus ascendant, the first of the air signs, grows. The second of the air signs, Virgo, will do it this way. They have Tamas and Artha, so they are all about work and routines in the ascendant. They check out a routine. How should I implement this whenever they discover something new? But they are having again to talk to their emotional body in this triangle that you see, the blue triangle which we are speaking of in these series. So they have to take deliberate action for what? They have to find the core desires first. If the Virgo ascendant is not able to find their core desire, it's difficult to move for them in their other two emotional bodies. It is difficult for them to connect to the spouse or to the community. That's what it means. This is the original point. So in the third house, if they find their core of their desires, let it be sexual, physical or otherwise, or skills of life or their talents, what talents do they have to display? They have to take deliberate action and motivate themselves to learn what their core desires are. That's the clue there. And once they do that, they move into the seventh house, which is the house of spouse intimate partnerships. And there, as you can see, they will ask the why me. The liberation from ego and coming into the heart center for the Virgo ascendant will happen in the house of spouse. Sometimes this can be tricky, sometimes this can be a divorce, sometimes this can be separating from a partner, sometimes this can be shattering, a loss of life of the spouse, that kind of a thing. Events can happen in a person's life, but that is liberating for the Virgo ascendant. But if you do this consciously, it will be easier. You will be merging your desire body with your emotional body. This is very powerful for the Virgo ascendant. But since they are very tamasic in their ascendant, they're always about seeking means. It's all about making things happen in the physical world. This becomes a tough stretch. But if they work on this, then they move on to the highest ideal of emotional body, connecting with their heart. They have to first let go of their ego in order to connect with their heart. There is no point for the Virgo ascendant being too egotistical, because that will block you from accessing your true connection, individual connection with your own heart, which will give you good health, wealth, social media gains, all the rest of it. But that's an outcome. Let's not talk of outcomes which will happen automatically when you have worked on yourself. Soul evolution, we are talking only in terms of what you have done first for yourself. This in turn will feed them back to finding their core desire. It recalibrates. This triangle, as you can see, all arrows feed them back to themselves. Okay. And last one for the Capricornian ascendants, the last of the earth signs, the structural earth, Rajas and Artha, means they are always looking for career, job, business. As you can see in the first house, they are thinking about these aspects. What about my career? What about my job? Name, recognition, fame, how will I get this? They're very grounded in that respect. But now we are coming to the emotional body merging with the desire body. That's what this triangle, as you can see, is about. All moksha houses, moksha 1, moksha 2 and moksha 3. So deliberate action the Capricorn needs to take in first letting go of that ego. They have to take it deliberately. How will they take deliberate action in letting go of the ego with regard to skills? One clue I am getting right now is they need to embrace their skill sets by deliberate action. They need to immerse themselves in whatever they are doing very strongly, to the point that they don't feel themselves. If they are painting, they need to paint so many times that they lose themselves in their painting. If they are working on their music or art or crafts or any of the talents, any of the educations that they are seeking, they need to immerse themselves to lose themselves in it. That is losing of ego. And that's when they will actually materialize the desire body. That's when they will find their motivation, and that in turn leads them to a proper sattva moksha part. They'll connect with their heart truly with their spouse. They will not make that connection if they are not doing this work in the third house. Okay? So the Capricornian ascendant, if they want to connect very strongly with their heart, with their spouse, they have to first do this action in the third house. And then once they connect with their heart, they will move on to the 11th house, where they will find their core desire. They have been looking for desire. What do they really desire? But it comes for them in the outside world. As you can see, this is in the day half. So it comes in the external world. They will discover their true desire in the external world by acting in the external world, by bringing the work of the 3rd and 7th to the 8th house, to the 11th house, which is Scorpio here. Even though it might be buried, Scorpio goes very deep, as you all know. And that in turn feeds the tamas and the moksha sign, which will be even more liberating for the Capricornian ascendant. Next, we will speak about the air signs, the beautiful air signs. Keep watching. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and keep watching, because more and more content is coming in.